Like, do we really even gotta say anything?
Valid.
Do we even gotta say anything? Come on, I think
Nah,
we
you
all
valid,
know.
bro. You valid.
I think we all know. I think we all knew. We all knew.
W, yeah.
We all knew this shit was gonna be
Yeah,
fucking amazing.
yeah.
Motherfucking pain! That's what I got. That's why he's doing this. That's why it's the show.
Wow.
Is it too crazy?
No, man. Miles, I see exactly what you're doing there, man. Yeah.
Chainsaw Man is goated, and you should watch it. That's it. Thanks for watching Makima Supremacy.
Well, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Okay, perhaps I should go into a bit more detail and explain why I feel this way. So, Chainsaw Man is the latest hyped shonen anime that blew up and quickly took over the internet. It's basically the anime of 2021, despite the fact that it only premiered in like the last 3 months of the year. The manga was already very popular, so it had a big fan base before the anime even premiered, which really helped spread its reach even more once the adaptation started to air. Hell, I just barely followed what was happening in the anime scene, and even I noticed the buzz this show had leading up to its premiere. And after the first episode, it was clear that this was a certified banger, and we were in for something special. But let's be honest, is it overhyped? Yeah, sure, a little bit. Is it literal perfection like my clickbait title says? Well, no, but it's damn near close if you ask me. If it's not obvious, I really like this show, and it's the first time in a long time that a show really sucked me in like this, and actually had me anxiously waiting for the next episode. And one of the few times I actually sought out the source material, and the various other works by the same creator, and read it before the show was even done airing. Don't worry, I'm not going to be comparing it to its manga counterpart. I'm just going to be looking at the show as its own thing. Although I will say, if you haven't read the manga, oh man, you are not ready for what happens next. I'm excited to see everyone's reaction once shit really starts heating up. I just realized I've been talking and I haven't even told you what the show is about or anything really, so let's do that. Now the simplest way I've seen described is like this: broke young man plus chainsaw demon equals Chainsaw Man. That's it, I'm sold.
I'll take your entire stock.
But let's actually take a moment and go into a bit more detail about the setup and premise. Don't worry, no major spoilers yet. So we follow Denji, a homeless 16-year-old who has a pet devil dog that's, well, a chainsaw. And together they hunt down devils to pay off a debt owed to the Yakuza. Through some story-related reasons, Denji eventually gets the ability to turn into a devil, with chainsaws for limbs and a head. And with his newfound power, he starts hunting devils for the government organization called the Public Safety Bureau. That's the basic premise. Chainsaw Man killing devils from hell. Now when I heard this, I was sold immediately. That sounds insane and fucking awesome. And for the first couple episodes, you get just that. A bit of a smart-ass teen killing devils in bloody fashion, along with some pretty fun characters. But the longer I watched, the more I realized that this show has a lot more going on than expected. This will be the first thing I will always praise about this show. Not the animation or music, though we'll get there. It's the fact that it lures you in with its bizarre premise that could easily just be a Monster of the Week type show with epic fights and solid animation, but once you're a couple episodes in, you realize, damn, I've been tricked, because you start to notice that the characters are pretty damn good. They're well written, fun, and interesting. It's surprising how quickly you can get attached to most of them in such a short amount of time, and learning about them and seeing their interactions becomes just as much fun as the bloody action. If this was a slice of life show with these characters, I would watch it. At no point was I bored watching the characters talk or being shown bits of their backstory. I was hooked the whole time. That's a testament to how good the writing for these characters are, when I actually wouldn't have minded seeing more of them in a show that has a guy turned into chainsaws and slicing up devils. That's how you know you nailed the characters, so big thumbs up. Denji in particular is interesting because as a protagonist, he's a bit different from your typical shonen anime hero. He's a good guy, sure, but his goals and motives are a bit different than most. Like the man kills a devil for a chance to grab some boobs, and later on he wants to kill another devil so he can get a kiss. And because of the life he lived, being homeless and being on his own for most of his existence, small things like putting jam on toast just blows his mind, and having a bed and being able to bathe regularly is seen as a luxury to him. He also has some very noticeable flaws, one being he's a major sim for a girl who gives him attention, which leads to him easily being manipulated. But he's so damn likable, and you know he's a good guy. He's just much more blunt and straightforward about what he wants than most other anime protagonists. And due to his lack of education and typical real-world experience, it gives him a different outlook on life. And seeing him pursue his pretty small and kinda immature goals is surprisingly refreshing. This is kind of a spoiler for the manga and future seasons of the show, but it's nothing specific. But from what I can tell, his overarching story is him learning about connections with other people, the world outside his very small frame of reference, and learn to grow and mature bit by bit, taking on more responsibility. You get some of that here, but it's really in the next part of the story where you see him change even more. But regardless, Denji, I really like him. And when you're introduced to the side characters, they seem kind of like your basic anime tropes or archetype. Power is the ball of chaos, who's just completely unpredictable. She's loud, obnoxious, and just really fun. Aki is a dark and broody character with a tragic past and wants revenge. Kinda reminds me of Sasuke, I'm not gonna lie. And when you first meet them, you kinda be quick to write them off. But the more you watch and the more you learn about them, you realize they have a lot more going going on than you gave them credit for. And seeing the relationship form and how they bounce off each other is just as entertaining as the action. Bruh, Denji starts calling Power Powie as a nickname. That's fucking cute, and they're my personal favorite characters. Even the girl Denji is simping over, Makima, seems like a very sweet and seductive girl, but you know something just isn't right about her. Not only does she warm up to Denji like immediately, but later on she displays power and knowledge that shows that she has a larger ulterior goal that we aren't aware of. Although it's kind of obvious off the rip that something just isn't right about her, and that she's plotting something. Even though we see the red flags, Denji is so infatuated by her that he doesn't see it. So in short, all the characters are good, and I love seeing them interact and bond. And Denji in particular is a more interesting and breath of fresh air protagonist. Also, I would do unspeakable things to Power and Himeno. The next thing I want to talk about is the pacing. It's a really fast-paced show. Things are always moving, conflicts are always getting introduced to keep you on your toes. Some for just a few episodes, but there is an overarching plot line that gets introduced a few episodes in that carries throughout the rest of the season, and it's going to be continued in season 2. This of course is the stuff related to the Gun Devil. Some may think that things move a bit too fast, and in a few cases I do agree. I'll mention those in a second. But overall, I was glued to my TV every second it was on screen. Most of the episodes are perfectly constructed and with a cliffhanger that blends into the next episode. And considering how good the characters are and how much fun you're having while watching, you just want to see what happens next. Seriously, if all the episodes were available from the start, I would have binged the whole thing in one sitting. That's how hooked I was, and just how well the episodes and plot reveals are presented and handled in this show. Though the only downside about the pacing is that it does leave you feeling a bit upset that some characters aren't explored as much as you would want or expect. This is a spoiler, but some characters die, and it does feel a bit sudden, and you're kind of left thinking, damn, I wish I could have seen more of them, which looking back on it might have been by design, showing you that no character is really safe and this world really is dangerous. But also towards the end, mainly in the final 2 episodes, you're introduced to a few more fiends that Aki, Power, and Denji will be working with, but they really don't do much in the last few episodes, so now you gotta wait a while before you can actually learn anything about them. I guess this does give you something to look forward to next season, but the show is clearly trying to keep the plots and conflicts moving forward, so there are a few moments where you would prefer things to slow down a bit. Another example of something that feels underbaked is when Power and Denji start working with Kasabi, who is there to train them, so you think, okay, we're gonna have like a training arc, or maybe like the next few episodes we focus on them getting better, but no, it lasts like an episode and a half. So the pacing overall is good in terms of the story and plot. Things never really drag, and there are new reveals and twists nearly every episode. It's constantly showing you new things, but it does have its moments where I wish it would explore some aspects and characters a bit more before it moves on to the next big reveal. Now, one thing that is honestly a personal favorite of mine is the cinematography. Such creative and beautiful shots throughout the whole show, and it feels very cinematic at times, which is very appropriate because both the director of the show and creator of the manga are film buffs and love movies. So there's just good looking shots everywhere. Nothing feels flat or bland. For those who know me, you know I'm a sucker for some creative camera work, and this show has that, so it gets bonus points. Also, shout out to possibly the greatest shot in the whole show right here. Now, the animation is pretty damn good. There's attention to detail in everything, from facial expressions to little things like the way fabric moves, and it's only amplified by the creative cinematography that we just went over. And when the action happens, it's awesome. It's fast paced, it's bloody, and all around badass. There are a few spots where the CGI doesn't look the best or isn't as fluid as the rest of the show, but that can be looked past because of how good it looks 99% of the time. Some people aren't really a fan of how it looks, but I personally really like it. I believe they use rotoscoping, but I'm not too sure. I'm not an animation expert or even a novice for that matter. All I know is it looks good in the quieter moments and in the batshit insane moments. Same with the music. It does a perfect job at conveying the mood for each scene, from the action set pieces to the more quieter and somber moments. And of course, the opening track, Kickback, is a fucking banger. Bro, I got that shit on my workout playlist. It's that good. Man, I think just every aspect of the show was handled really well. From the technical aspect to the characters, the writing, it's all really great. Mappa did one hell of a job. You can really tell that a lot of love and care went into this show. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Hell, each episode even has a different end credits. They didn't have to do that, but something small like that shows that the team behind this really liked the source material enough that they're willing to go the extra mile. To put everything bluntly, I like this show and just about everything it does. I like this so much that I even watched the dubbed version.
Are you watching this in English? I don't watch subbed anime.
That's why your head look like a damn peanut, nigga!
You dirty
ugly
bitch!
I really could just keep talking about how much I really like this show, and how it really surprised me that I never expected it to be this good. I thought it was going to be a big dumb action anime with big battles and nothing more, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I recommend everyone to check it out. By the time you get to the hotel episodes, you're going to be hooked, and then you'll see what the hype was really about, and by the time you get to the season finale, you're going to be thinking,
You badass motherfucker.
I could really just keep going on and on singing its praises, but I think it's about time we end this video. I'm pretty sure you get the point by now. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys, have you seen Chainsaw Man? What did you think of it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it overhyped? Leave a comment and let me know. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. And we'll give a nice big shout out to the channel members. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the join button down below and check out the perks. If they interest you, consider joining. Or not, it don't matter.
None of this matters.
Stop fucking crying, bitch! Man,
Man, I don't wanna fucking hear it.
Oops. Sorry, I couldn't hold it. Holy shit. Would you just smell how much it stinks? I might just shat my pants, Limo.